This is Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight with Rhett Bryan and Keith Bulluck. I'm Taylor Zarzour, and it's good to be with you here. Our lady, Miss Amy, the president of everything that comes to Titans Radio, Titans Audio, and Titans Video, is on special assignment this week, Rhett.
Team Mom.
Team Mom,
Working.
that's right. Team Mom, good wife, Team Mom. She's on assignment, and I am filling in for her this week. Keith, how we doing today?
Doing great. You know, it's a little rainy outside, but that never dulls anything. You know, you just keep it moving. I always wake up on the good side of the bed.
There it is.
Well, I've got really good news. The Tennessee Titans are playing at home for the entire month of November.
I think I'll have to attend a couple.
Yeah?
Tried to be the good luck charm last home game. Started off well.
Yeah?
But let's try our luck again this week.
Yeah, we got a home game against the Chargers on Sunday. Then
Can't wait.
Then an open week, and then 3 home games, Rhett, after that through the month of November. Not going on the road again.
Until December the 7th.
Yeah.
Cleveland, Ohio. Mm-hmm. And that seems like an eternity from now. It'll be here before you know it. But I'm glad the next 5 weeks are in Music City.
Yes, and I know that was one of the thrills of your life, Keith, getting to play in current Nissan Stadium as many times as you did. And we'll go through it quickly here. The Titans got off to a competitive start against the Indianapolis Colts this past weekend. It was 17-7 at halftime. Rhett and I kept saying as we went into the halftime break, it really felt like it was closer than that. And it had a chance to make it a one-possession game, and then had a chance coming out of the half to make it a one-possession game. But then Jonathan Taylor hits the home run, if you will, for the Colts on their first play offensively in the second half, an 80-yard touchdown run. And the Colts are humming right now, Keith. They have the best record in the National Football League.
Yeah, they've been playing good football, great football since the first time the Titans faced them. Being in that situation, Rhett, you probably remember when, it had to be like 03, 04. We went up there. It was the RCA Dome at the time, and we start off the game, and Jeff Fisher did like 2 onside kicks in a row, right? We get the ball back, we recover, and this is when Peyton Manning and those guys were really rolling. And, hey, we're up. I think we scored. We're up 14-0 in the first quarter with about 8 minutes left in the first quarter. And, we weren't playing good as an overall team. We were probably lacking it. But Jeff, as the coach, knew, look, we got to do something, right? We got to do something. We get up early. Maybe our defense is on point. We can hold and make this thing a game. But it didn't happen that way because the Colts eventually, turned it on. But for a second, man, maybe that quarter or going into the half, we definitely believe that, all right, we got a shot, because it's true. Any given Sunday, a team feels like they can win. So sometimes it's up. Obviously the players play. And what I'm getting to is if, maybe going for it before that half, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you're a team and you're changing of the guard up top, and you're just trying to find something, and I didn't agree with Jeff kicking those onside kicks, you know what I mean? I was like, you're just making Peyton Manning mad, but to me, and it was clown football, right? What are we doing, But as a coach, when Jeff knew we didn't have much shot to keep up.
Trying to get some advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us some type of, as a team, and
sure.
I appreciate Jeff because he explained it after the game. This is what I was trying to do. We're up against, so I understand Mike McCoy in a sense, okay, let's punt it. But then it's as a player, if they get that first down, because you're looking at bro, look, we're playing with house money at this point, playing one of the best teams in the league. Jonathan Taylor, Indiana Jones now. Now the guy has a nickname. So, you just want something that gives you hope. So that's why coming out, with the game here I was just referring to against the Patriots, you came out so the Titans are at the point where they are able to throw a couple punches in the opening rounds, but now it's about sustaining, right? Mm-hmm. It's about sustaining those punches. And I said it maybe a couple weeks ago when I was here, just about every game this year, the Titans have been in going into halftime. Now, what they do at halftime or coming out of halftime has usually been the difference in how the game goes. But you could build off that if you're the guys in the locker room.
Yeah, a couple things here, Rhett. First, hitting on what Keith mentioned about not going for it near midfield there. Coach McCoy was sitting in this chair a couple days ago, and he said, I'd like that one back. That's on me. Wish I would have gone for it there. The thinking was if Johnny Hekker can pin the Colts deep inside the 5-yard line, the Titans' defense in the second quarter was really playing well. Last time it was on the field, they did a very good job of impacting Indiana Jones and bottling up Jonathan Taylor. So maybe you get the ball back at around midfield on a first down. That was what the thinking was. But given the current situation, Coach McCoy said he realized after the game, man, we should have gone for it right there.
And I was going to say, to be fair to Coach McCoy, this is only his second game as an interim head coach. His mind wasn't even in the position 3-4 weeks ago of having to make those type of decisions. So he definitely gets a pass. But everyone's still working together to try and figure out how to be, I guess, at this point, a more consistent football team, because consistency will come before wins, because you have to be consistent in order to win.
Yeah, and you're right, because they have been in so many of these ball games for a quarter and a half, maybe even a half, and then something happens. And in this case last week, poor tackling led to an 80-yard score. I guarantee you tackling is a point of emphasis again this week. And if it's not that, it's been a penalty somewhere, self-inflicted thing that gets them 3rd and 12, 3rd and 17, whatever. They were better in terms of turnovers, though. They had the turnover. Cam had the turnover late down in one of those, going towards one of those end zones. And that was after the score had been separated. That's neither here nor there. So they played cleaner ball in that respect. But you're right. If they can just find a way to put together 60 minutes in this, and that's where, you know, they're just trying to figure out and find their way. And it leads me to a question I wanted to ask you, Keith, because so many of these guys, and we knew this coming into this, there's going to be a lot of young guys playing early and playing often. And this rookie class has done a really nice job. Not just Chimray DK. I mean, there's been some other guys involved, and some of the second-year guys. I was at an event yesterday with Jalen Harrell, who is becoming a really nice special teams player and is going to start earning some more reps as, a pass rusher and everything in the defense. Not only because he's earned it, obviously there's some injury things there. But I wanted to ask you, you were a guy that came in as the 30th overall pick in 2000 because the Titans had just come off of a Super Bowl appearance and all those things. You played teams for a good chunk of your first year and a half, 2 years as a Titan. How long did it take you to transition to a full-time player, and how much do you think that would have expedited your career if you'd been in the driver's seat and actually playing as many snaps as these guys are right off the bat when you just walked in the door, basically?
Well, I was a first-round draft pick for a reason, so I felt like I was ready to play right away. That was a Jeff Fisher decision. Actually, the first game of the season, I got in the game to start off the half because Greg Favors, who was starting in front of me, was coming out of the locker room. We were on defense, and I had to play. And I remember those 3 plays I played, I had 2 tackles. So I felt I was ready. But also that's why I was drafted in the first round. I think it's harder for guys that are drafted later in the draft, that are expected to play. Like most 6th round picks don't necessarily even make the team. 7th round, you know what I mean? So the experience that I got that helped me was that when I did eventually start, I had been hungry to start. I understood what it was to be a professional. I had already been in some situations. It's almost like back in the day when a quarterback has 2-3 years to get ready to play. Like Steve McNair didn't come in and start. Steve McNair, sat for a whole year, held the clipboard for a year and a half. And then when he did come in, he had Eddie George getting the ball 30 times, 400 years, 30 times a game, about 400 carries a year. So Steve wasn't really asked to do too much until he was, pretty much ready, and they felt he was ready. So I think to really sum up your question, it helped me that I guess in a sense that I didn't have to play football right away, that we did have veterans that I can learn from. As a young guy that is thrusted into the situation, you're learning on the fly, right? Who are your veterans that are teaching you the ropes of even being in the NFL? You know, right now, all these young guys, it's football, 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 football. You know, they just got here in June, you know. So now to be such a focal point of a situation where, like, just 4 months ago, you were just happy to be here is a little crazy. And then so many of them playing as well.
Keith, when did you develop the most as an NFL player? You know, because there's a lot of people that would suggest from the beginning of year one to the end of year one is when you develop the most, or from year one to year two. Was it that way with you, or was it later in your career?
No, it was pretty much, I would say, developed because I got the opportunity to become a starter. Year three, I finally just got to put everything out there, because the first year, like, I made some plays when I got a pick on Monday night. You know,
Anthony Wright,
year,
Christmas night.
Yeah, second year I was more the nickel linebacker, and I played alongside of a 12-year vet. So if they're running double crossers and I jump up on the first one, I'm going to get cussed out by my 12-year vet and tell me, you know what, so we come from a Greg Williams system. You don't be a repeat offender. You can make a mistake, but only make the mistake once. If you make it twice, you're going to have to probably be right here on this. So I'm not making the same mistake. So I feel like the standard that was held here, the standard that Titans team that I came into was extremely high. It was extremely high. And then I had a coach in Gunther Cunningham who had a really, really high, IQ, football IQ, was a head coach, coordinator, position coach. And then, I ended here with Mac, who kind of made sure I stayed on point. So I would say year three is when most rookies probably it clicks for them because you play enough football. But for me, it was a little different. I just think that I had that old school way of being brought up where, you sit back and wait your turn, and then you go.
Yeah, so like as an example, Cedric Gray looks like he's made a big jump from last year to this year. Part of it's health. He's been fully healthy this year, and you could argue to a degree this is sort of like his first year in the NFL, not his second, because of the limited amount of action he received last year. But could he get even better than the guy we're watching right now that's making all these tackles each week?
He has to get better because he's making tackles, but you got to make plays. In the NFL, it's about being a playmaker, and he's playing well. But you can tell I'm very technical when I watch the game. I can tell that he hasn't played a lot of linebacker. The position's new to him. 2 weeks in a row on a pulling guard, the one that Jonathan Taylor hit his head on the goal. I think it was the 80-yard run. He stopped too short on a pull where he got to come over. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have mattered because none of the linebackers got over, but I'm just, we're just talking about it.
Sure.
I'm not like pointing a finger. I'm just telling where the development comes. He didn't get over. The week before, he ran up in the gap. He was there, but then here came the guard around the corner, and it happens. It happens in football, and he got, so that's just, those are instincts. Those are playing the position long enough to understand what you're looking for, to understand what to expect, to understand where you fit and to do your job. So, yeah, of course, he's going to get way better. So once he starts to understand those little intricacies of the defense, where you're supposed to be, how even lining up a half a yard, to the left will help you on certain plays. So formation recognition, there's a bunch, and I'm sure he's getting it. Frank Bush is a great coach. Frank, I'm sorry. And we'll get him right. So he has the sky's the limit.
Yeah, because what you're telling is the literal definition of what we hear from coaches frequently about know what you're doing so that you can play fast and aggressive.
Yeah.
And there's a definition of that. It's not I have knowledge of this playbook. You're talking about situational knowledge.
Yeah.
You're talking about key and diagnose,
Yeah.
read and recognize, and look to see what your opponents are doing so that you can be the proactive guy to get in there and force something different.
Yeah, absolutely. in this day and age, there's just a lot of different coaches. All these coaches get opportunity, and they coach the scheme, right? So we could sit in a room for 4 hours, and I'll be like, okay, you got the safeties, and this is the scheme I want you to teach. And you can go and teach it. And you got the D-line. This is the scheme I want you to teach. You can go and teach it. But for the safeties that aren't as football savvy and the D linemen that aren't football savvy, how do they make a play, right? He's going to be like, Coach, you told me to go right here. Right, but the ball is right here, bro. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So we always said you don't want to have robots. You have to be instinctful. And, here's an example that on the Colts game, Cody Barton, he saw it was down by the goal line, 4th and 1. He was calling out. He knew something was up. He knew something was up. The call was, because I saw it online, he said the call was soft, right? And then someone asked me through my interaction on Twitter, I was like, look, if I'm him and the call is soft, that's kind of telling me to protect the goal line. Like, it's almost saying, like, we're okay if they get the first down on 4th and 1, but we're protecting the goal line, if I hear that. But me, if I'm playing, I'm situational, right? It's 4th and 1. I'm already calling out. That means I know what they're running because I saw it in my film study. This is the play that they're running, right? And it seemed like Cody knew, and he just hovered over it instead of attacking it on 4th and 1, and that's just the difference, right? Was he wrong? No. He played the call that he was supposed to play, but then that's the player having the instincts to do what needs to be done to make the play.
I wonder this, Keith. I've heard a lot from the current coaching staff and the players that there's a good culture here, that there's no toxicity, that everybody is enjoying each other and playing for each other and with each other, that you have a lot of young players that are developing and getting all these reps, and that's good, but that you got to win while you're doing all of this. Like, it's really important to experience winning as you're building a good culture and as you're getting all these reps. You'll hear Mike McCoy sit in this chair and say, you know what? All these reps and all this development is going to pay off in the future for the Tennessee Titans. But you also need to experience winning as much as possible because you got to have that reward while you're doing all of that. You agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's the unfortunate thing is, like, if I'm going through the roster, Big Jeff might be one of the only people that's really experienced, the winning side of things, because he came in, I feel like, with Rabel when they were on.
He and Amani Hooker.
Yeah,
yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So who's teaching, who's instilling the winning who's the formula for winning when it comes to mentality? Because as a rookie, you're following. As a second-year guy, you're following. You're trying to learn. So it's like, Cam Ward is the captain. All right, but he's never won in the NFL. He doesn't know what it means to be a leader in the NFL and, all those things that come with it. He's still trying to figure out his footwork. You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough situation, and what needs to happen is because I know I couldn't do it on my own. I was a different kind of leader. I was more in your face. I was more about accountability. Look, we're not here to be friends. We work together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can cry to your girlfriend or your mom after practice, but when we come in this building, it's about getting the job done. And then they brought in Kevin Mawai, David Thornton, Chris Hope, who are a little more sensible, that can talk to, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But we needed those type of leaders. Okay, Keith is the leader, but he's a little off, you know what I mean? But we need some guys that can talk sensible to our guys. And I wouldn't say I was off. I just took what I did very serious. I didn't have time for games.
I love it. Well, that's why we have you here, is we love your perspective here on Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans tonight. Visit titansbanking.com to learn about their convenient mobile banking. Pinnacle Financial Partners, member FDIC. When we return, we'll talk about the Los Angeles Chargers with Keith. Any Chargers memories for Keith playing against the Titans?
I hate the Chargers.
Good. All right, we've got Titans-Chargers memories coming up next with Keith here on Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans tonight. It's Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans tonight. Rhett Bryan, Keith Bulluck, Taylor Zarzour with you here this week. I know because, Keith, before every game starts, my man Rhett Bryan gets fired up for kickoff. And he starts looking at the opponent's helmets, their jerseys, and he is ready for the Tennessee Titans to inflict some pain on the LA Chargers on Sunday. Any Titans-Chargers memories that you'd like to discuss here?
I mean, not many. Like we didn't have much success against the
San Diego Chargers at the time?
Yeah, at the time. But to be fair, man, that's when they were really cooking. LaDainian Tomlinson, we played against them when he got the most touchdowns. And it was during a time when our team was just like the Titans now. We're 1-5. Like, we weren't a good team. And I remember, we had that, air quotes, next man up mentality. But if the next man that's up isn't ready, it's not really a good situation. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I remember we had a rookie, fourth, fifth round linebacker. He had to play. And he's in the game, and Phillip Rivers is going through his cadence. And then this linebacker goes, what do I do? And Phillip Rivers snaps the ball, and here comes LaDainian Tomlinson. So you see what I'm saying? You got rookies playing in the game, and a lot of them don't even really know what to do. And you still have to go out there and play. So I remember that game because LT had 4 touchdowns in the first half, and then they just put in Michael Turner, and I think he had 100 yards on us too.
Oh, man.
But then, honestly, and then we played them a couple more times, didn't have success, but our team got better. And we started to see them, in 2008. We played them in the playoffs one year, and they got away with one. It was a good game. We played well. We lost. And then we played them another year. They got away. You know what I'm saying? So it was the build-up. So and then the last year, we played them on Monday night, the year that we started 0-6. And then we won 6 games in a row. We were on a 6-game win streak. I got hurt the week before against the Dolphins, and we lost, but I know we would have won if I was playing. It was Monday night and Christmas. Oh, I was going to have a good game, right?
Absolutely.
And we owed them.
When the lights come on, that's where Mr. Monday Night lived. And the other part, too, just thinking about all those times we went to what was the old Jack Murphy Stadium, Qualcomm at the time we were going out there.
Sure.
Antonio Gates, oh, my.
Yeah.
I mean, but, yeah, there was a stretch, Taylor, where the franchise did not beat the Chargers franchise for 22 seasons. Went back to the Houston Oilers days. For whatever reason, it was just one of those oddball figures in time, and they finally got the monkey off their back, beat them at Nissan Stadium. I think it was Justin Hunter, former Tennessee wide receiver, caught the touchdown towards the end there.
That's what I'm talking about.
But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of stuff with that. I knew he'd be salty about the Chargers.
I didn't have anything good to say about
We're
the
going to
Chargers.
have to exact some revenge on the lightning bolts, it sounds like.
Yes.
I didn't have any, that playoff game. Didn't have anything. I never got beat for a touchdown by Gates. I don't know. I can't put nothing on the Chargers. They have
LT and Phillip Rivers and those guys were awfully good. Now, the former Charger who became a New Orleans Saint. Now, you got him 3 times on Monday night one time. His name was Drew Brees. And thus hence Mr. Monday Night.
Well, what do you think of this Chargers quarterback, Justin Herbert?
Oh, man, he's the real deal. He's definitely the real deal. And he has Harbaugh doesn't really put too much on him as it seems, because they have a running game as well.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh likes to run the ball, and they're working with their second, maybe even third. Vidal might even be their third string.
He is
runner.
there. He was, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's running for 100 yards, So it's one of those situations that you could tell Justin Herbert is in a very good system, right? So now if you're in a good system, you're good, and he gets comfortable. It's almost like quarterbacks can come, read the defense, and I don't like this look. I'm gonna just run the ball, because you got faith in your running back to get 3-4 yards, 5 yards, maybe on first down, even though a pass was called. Now you're working with second and manageable. I like that better as a quarterback, 2nd and 5, right? So I just think that obviously we know the coach Jim Harbaugh he puts good people around him, because you're always like, the head coach looks great when everything's going good, right? When it's not, anyway, you know what happens.
Well, Justin Herbert don't let the size and his arm acumen fool you. He's got wheels.
Yeah.
Averaging 6.5 yards per carry. And their last win last Thursday night against the Vikings had 7 for 62 in that game. And he's had to help them some because of the injury situation. So they bring in Najee Harris, the former Steeler in free agency. He tears his Achilles. He's out for the year. O'Marion Hampton, their draft pick from North Carolina, is still on injured reserve. I think he will start the protocol to return next week. And Kamani Vidal, a second-round pick from a year ago, 2 100-yard games in his last 3 games. And has done a very nice job to help them in that, because Hassan Haskins is the other back who used to be here. He has a hamstring. But Justin Herbert, 68% completion percentage, over 2,000 yards passing, 16 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. He's dealing.
Yeah, which what I overlooked and kind of what just kind of made me go, ooh, is like his rushing, right? You know, if you don't go in there accounting for that, then they'll kill you. I feel that's how, you know, the Patriots were able to have so much success with Drake May just being unscheduled and, you know.
That's the hit and yardage.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely want to see the Titans take care of that.
That's why the tackling is so important.
Yeah. Oh, man, tackling. They don't tackle. You can't practice tackling during the season. That's a tough part, right? And then tackling is a mentality and an attitude. So hope their mentality and attitude changes this week for sure.
That's such a good point about tackling, too, because now in this day and age, you're trying to do everything you can to give a professional football player a good quality of life, not only, you know, as they play the game, but you're trying to be mindful of their entire life. Yeah. But you got to rep tackling.
Yeah. You know what? We didn't really tackle too much live to the ground during camp when we were here, but we played a lot in the preseason. And I really, really do feel that, you know, the preseason takes away some of that early in the year tackling. But now we're in week 8 or week 9. Like, guys have been out there, you know, guys have been playing a lot of football. Mm-hmm. You got to strike people. You got to strike people with your hands. You got to strike people with your pads, and you got to be willing to throw in there and set an attitude and set the tone for your defense. You know, for opposing offenses to even, you know, believe that you're a threat to them.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's very important. And here's hoping that the Titans get those Chargers on the ground on Sunday afternoon here at Nissan Stadium. Again, the first of 4 straight home games for the Tennessee Titans in the month of November. Home game off week, then 3 in a row in the latter part of November before the Titans go back on the road in December. Coming up, we salute a Titan for his salute to service on Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight. It's Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight. For more on Titans banking from Pinnacle, visit titansbanking.com for all the details. Member FDIC. This is a cool email to get in the inbox on Tuesday, Rhett. The Tennessee Titans announced that the nominee for 2025 Salute to Service is Darryl Baker Jr. He has been announced as their Salute to Service Award nominee. He grew up in a military family and learned about the sacrifices his parents, Darryl Baker Sr., and his mother, Jonetta Dixon, who are retired U.S. Army veterans, made throughout their lives. And they served stints in Baghdad, Iraq, Kuwait, among many other destinations that the Baker family was involved in throughout his entire life. And to honor and empower his own family members who served, his parents were named the 12th Titan in last year's Salute to Service game, where they were celebrated for their service on the field pregame, and certainly they'll be celebrated again. And that's a awesome thing that we'll be celebrating at Nissan Stadium this Sunday.
Yeah, and so this is kind of a way to kick off Salute to Service Month, which is November, and knowing that Veterans Day is fast approaching on the 11th. And what a fitting nominee in Darryl Baker Jr. You could just see from speaking to him how he carries himself, how formative his parents were being an Army kid, and how important that is to shaping who he is as a man, not just as a football player. And this is a lot like the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. There's a nominee of all 32 teams. He's the Titans nominee in this. And he continues to use his platform to shed light on veterans, active service members, their families, even of fallen soldiers in this. And I did what I would like everyone to do, and you can do it once per day by going to NFL.com/SaluteFanVote. And that is open now at the league's website till November 30. And they will have 3 finalists they will name in January, and then the award winner will be revealed at the NFL Honors Celebration the night before Super Bowl 60. Darryl Baker Jr., please go vote.
Yeah, and you just mentioned he's going to participate in the Titans TAPS program and wear the initials of another fallen soldier.
Yep.
So that's a wonderful gesture, and he's also going to Veterans Appreciation Lunch as well, and he will be involved with Operation Stand Down Tennessee. Cool thing there, Keith, that Darryl Baker's involved in.
Yeah, I think so. I was I was in the community when I played here. That was something that was important to me. Being a foster kid, I always said when I was able to give back that I would. And we had a lot of Titans in the community. Marcus Robinson, Eddie George, Steve McNair. So when you see your other teammates doing it, and you get the opportunity, especially when you come from whatever background you come from, and it's something dear to you, it's really, truly endearing, and it's something that you'll continue to do your whole life. I still give back to foster children and underprivileged families here in Middle Tennessee.
Good for you. And
Fantastic.
give us that website one more time, Rhett.
Yeah, that website for you to vote once per day is NFL.com/SaluteFanVote. And the Titans are in the community every Tuesday. That's your guys' day off. Yesterday was a big deal as Cam Ward and Tajay Spears went to Kipp Elementary School and hung out with those. And just the reels you see from that, those children, you couldn't get the smile off their face.
That was an active kickball game, too.
Oh,
I mean, Cam was ready to win.
Oh, he is as fierce a competitor as you will ever meet.
I remember I had the opportunity when I played for the Titans. I went to breakfast at a young lady's, I forget, Bethesda Elementary School.
Yeah.
I did that obviously over about 20 years ago.
Yeah,
when I played,
that's how long they've been doing the Take a Titan to school.
Bethesda Elementary School. We had breakfast at the house, and then me and the young lady, we went in the limo and pulled up to the school. She was a star.
I had a really cool experience yesterday at shout out James Lawson High School here in Nashville, and we did through Everfi a character playbook, and it was a mental health awareness forum that Anthony Orji, linebacker for the Titans, Jalen Harrell, pass rusher for the Titans, and Kendall Brooks, defensive back for the Titans, was part of a panel, and a couple of our great cheerleaders, Hannah Stutz and Kenley Probst, and we had 100 student athletes that we were talking to and interacting with, Q&A and some exercises about mental health, about teamwork, ups and downs, adversity, it's a really cool thing. It's the second year the Titans have done this. And shout out to James Lawson High and Coach and their head coach in just their third year of existence. They got a win last week that gets in the Tennessee high school playoffs.
That's a big deal right
yes,
there.
Sir.
All right. Congrats to them.
Let's go.
And it's just great to talk a little bit more about how our Titans are involved in the community. I want to ask Keith Bulluck about something that he referenced in our next segment, and that's about onside kicks. And he talked about how against the Colts, they attempted a couple years ago when Keith was playing, when Coach Fisher did that. What has happened to the onside kick? We got to get into this coming up next. It's Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight. It's Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight with Keith Bulluck, Rhett Bryan, and Taylor Zarzour. Pinnacle Bank is the official bank of your Tennessee Titans, member FDIC. Keith Bulluck, what do you think of the new kickoff? I mean, it's the second year, but what do you think of the new kickoff in the National Football League?
Nah, it's new. I don't first, second, third. It's new. I don't see it enough to really understand it.
Yeah.
And I haven't taken my time to go and look, but maybe you give me a little.
Well, it's wild, certainly. I mean, it's very
I've
different.
seen it, but I didn't understand.
It's just so different from what you did, or what you're seeing at every level.
Like you can't move
of
or
football.
something.
Well, here's the thing. Structurally, you can never do what you were a part of at the RCA Dome when y'all did all those onside kicks trying to play keep away from Peyton.
Right.
When it was modified last year, you had to report that you were doing it to the officials. You had to be the team trailing, and it had to be in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Now, they've modified it in 2025.
You can do it whenever you want now, and it doesn't matter if you're losing or if you're winning, but you have to report it.
Right.
Because right now, Keith, the kicker is kicking off from the 35-yard line, and his 10 teammates on the kickoff team are standing at the other 40-yard line. All right, so they are 25 yards in front of where the kicker is kicking off. And then you have the guys that are back deep. You could have one guy, as the Titans do with Chim DK, or you could have two guys that are back there deep, and then the rest of your kickoff, your receiving team, if you will, are lined up 10 yards in front of the opposition. All right, so the reason they're doing this is they want the ball to land in the landing zone between the goal line and the 20-yard line. If it goes into the end zone, you're getting the ball at the 35-yard line now.
Right.
And so because you get such good field position, all these kickers are trying to land the ball in the landing zone, and they're trying to kick a dirty ball, as they say, so it's harder to field it. And then by the time the return man picks the ball up, the rest of the players are down there near him, and you're hoping you only get the ball around the 20-yard line if you effectively kick a good kick. So by and large, teams are returning kicks because the kicking team is kicking them into the landing zone. And so we've made the play more exciting instead of just a touchback, which is what it really turned into.
That's what it was the last 5 years, I feel like.
Yes, no question. But what we've done by making the kickoff more exciting is we've almost, Rhett, eliminated the onside kick. Now, you have to try the onside kick if you're down a possession, in the late in the fourth quarter. You have to try it.
But you have to report it. Yeah. It's like a tackle reporting eligible. It's like there's no element of surprise. Yeah. But you're right. When he said that, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, can't do that anymore.
No.
So it's and that's how we got the Colts. Jeff did 2 surprise on kicks back to back because it's like we did it to start off, and we got it. And they're like, there's no way in hell they're doing it again. And we did it again, and we got it. And we were up 14 because Billy Bulluck was having a year. Like, he was doing his thing. Like, we had no problem with the offense. We just weren't good on defense.
Was that the stretch where he and Drew Bennett?
Yeah. And then, Peyton Mann was going to rip us apart. But, go ahead, him and Drew Bennett went on a tear.
If you look it up, it's as good a 3-game stretch between a quarterback and a wide receiver in NFL history. I want to say Drew Bennett had 8 touchdowns in 3 weeks.
8 touchdowns.
And I forget how many yards.
700 yards.
Yeah, because there was one at home. You guys were at Nissan Stadium. And he had so many yards in the first half. Mike Keith looks at me and goes, hey, is it still Flipper Anderson has the single-game receiving record? I'm like, yep, 1988 Rams. And he's like, he may be flirting with this. I'm like, yeah, he might be.
How about that? That was wild and all great memories for the Titans for sure. But, yes, this onside kick has been compromised a bit with the new kickoff. And I'll be interested to see what the National Football League does in the offseason to try to figure that out as time has gone on. They tried to give the kicking team a little bit of a head start, a yard more head start than they did last year. The percentages haven't really changed, so we'll see if they address that again in the offseason.
Sorry, I just looked it up. Rhett, it was the 04 season in that game you're talking about. He had 12 receptions for 233.
12
3 touchdowns.
What a game.
And we lost. But that's what I'm saying. We were able, we scored 38 points. That wasn't the thing. We weren't good on defense. So as a defensive player and one of the leaders, we're letting the team down, so. But, yeah, that was a good stretch.
Drew Bennett made a lot of money going to St. Louis after that, too.
Keith, in our remaining minutes, I want to ask you about Cam Ward starting every game in the National Football League, first 8 games. No Titan had ever done that before. This will be start number 9 in his rookie season, and you certainly see the flashes of the talent that this guy possesses. What do you think of Cam Ward so far?
I think he's doing, all he can to be a rookie, for being a rookie and in the situation that he's in. Obviously, you would like to have Ridley. You would have liked to think Lockett would have worked out. But his young guys are stepping up, and it's almost like I said before, they're kind of stepping up on, pretty much on their own, because they have to. They're kind of thrusted and forced into the situation. But I like that, you could tell that Cam wants to win. He wants to get better. And for us here locally, we know that because you hear him speak. He's accountable. He takes responsibility. He's not pushing off responsibility on other people. He understands the process. It's like he gets the process without even knowing what it is, because when he came in, Callahan had a process. Now it's an interim coach. Okay, now I'm going through this process. And then already knowing next year the process is going to be different. So for him to be able to adjust and perform, he's not having the best performances, of any quarterback in the NFL. But in this situation, I feel like he's doing the best he can with what he has at his disposal.
Getting all that experience, Rhett, is invaluable.
And you're going to make mistakes, right? As long as you're not a repeat offender, right? As long as you don't, why you keep throwing it into double coverage, or why, I don't know. I haven't paid that close attention, but I feel there aren't many glaring things. Why do you keep, you know what I'm saying? Okay,
sure.
This week, let's go without a turnover. But like Rhett said, that turnover came late last week, and
when it didn't really matter.
Right, exactly. But I'm gonna nitpick if I'm saying that,
Yeah, and that's the other part that I think is so important as we go down the back stretch of this season, and then seeing what is in the future, is the valuable reps that these, because we talked earlier in the hour about Cedric Gray, who really is in his first year because he missed 10 games of his rookie season, and the dude's he's a tackling machine. But I'm just thinking of, Elikiah Manor and Chimere Dike, and now Gunnar Helm is starting to get in the mix. And Gunnar Helm, he can be a friend to Cam Ward. They just got to get down in the low red zone and make it happen.
Yeah, and before we get out of this, I would just add, you got to think about all these young guys. They just had a full college football season, combine training, came here, mini camp, OTAs, fall camp. Now they haven't stopped playing football in over a year, so the bye is going to help them. But then you asked me earlier, when do you make that turn? These guys can turn in the second year. I've seen it. Cortland Finnegan, we've had guys that quicker, once you're given the opportunity, you're going to turn faster.
Well, you're going to get to a point in the season when you get down the last month or so. These guys, they're not rookies anymore. They've played a lot of football.
It's time to go hurry up with Rhett Bryan and Rhett's Nuggies. What do you have for us?
All right, so this Chargers defense is interesting. They got Khalil Mack back off of IR. They had, in weeks 5 to 7, allowed 27 explosive plays. They cleaned that up last week against the Minnesota Vikings. Only allowed one play of 17 yards. But on offense, we talked about Justin Herbert. His targets, they have 3 of the 4 of them are 60% plus catch percentage guys. Keenan Allen, probably a future Hall of Famer, averaging 10 yards a catch. Quentin Johnston, the top pick they had a couple of years ago, really playing up to that now. Ladd McConkey, the second-year guy, led the team in targets the last 3 weeks. He had 6 for 88 and a score last week against the Vikings. But there's a guy the Titans defense has to be aware of who is becoming a mismatch problem, and that's the Syracuse tight end they took in day 3, or Rondé Gadsden the second, 6'5", 243, 82-inch wingspan, and he is a nightmare against safeties. He's becoming a mismatch problem. The Titans defense is going to have to watch him.
Yeah, he's a big boy. I watched him play a lot of football, me being a former Syracuse Orange, and he's 6'5" of him. Well, he fits the mold now. Possession tight end, not a big blocker, but we're not really asking them to do that these days, right? We're asking them to get open and do something when you catch the ball, and he's been doing that.
He's leading all NFL tight ends at over 13 yards per target right now as a rook.
His dad was a big physical receiver, and he's a big physical tight end.
But his dad was only 6'2". He's 6'5" and change.
Wow, how about that?
There's something in the genetics.
Yeah, there is. Keith, good to see you, my friend.
Great to see you. Great to finally get to work with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that more often in the future for sure. Rhett, bring all these nuggies to the booth, man. I need these on Sunday.
I got you, man. We got Kevin Maloney, too, but
yes,
I got
we do.
you.
Yes, we do. Our stats man, Kevin Maloney. That's right. We look forward to kickoff at 12 o'clock on Sunday against the L.A. Chargers at Nissan Stadium. You've been watching or listening to Pinnacle Financial Partners Titans Tonight.